What up, people? This the Nerve of You podcast, man, coming right back at you on a lovely Tuesday night, man. Shout out to all the new subscribers, man. You know, if you like the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, man. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell so you can get a notification when we go live. I'm sitting here with the co-host that love to do the most. We got Rose in the building, y'all.
Hello.
And we got a really hot topic that's been circling around social media for a couple days, and I want to discuss it. You know what I mean? Yo, man, first I want to give a moment of silence for the students that were slain in a senseless shooting right here in the great state of Texas. And, you know, it's it's always a very sad occasion when children are harmed. You know, children don't do nothing to nobody, man. Okay. You know, children didn't ask to be here in the world, and to hear about what happened is very unfortunate, man. So I want to do a quick moment of silence, and then we're gonna rock and roll. All right, we good, man. Bless the families, and you know, I hope God put his arms around those families in this time of need. You know, I couldn't imagine sending my child to school and they don't come back. That would be devastating for anybody. Anyway, shout out to my boy Rel. We got big pressure in the building. We gonna go ahead and get it popping. So here's the topic for the night, ladies and gents. You dig? The Nerve of You podcast, man. You know, Simone, social media. You know, she's a social media personality, I would say. I can't even really call her a comedian. She's not really that funny to me, kind of basic. But at the end of the day, Simone, you know, like to light up the internet, man. You know what I mean? Like most people, I can't hate on nobody hustle. You know what I mean? We got to get on how we get on. But she has some things to say about the beloved Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., and this is going to be a very controversial podcast because I'm going to take this many different ways. But Simone flat out came out and say, look, Dr. King wasn't a good man because he was cheating on his wife, the late, great Coretta Scott King. You see what I'm saying? Now, does Martin Luther King cheating on his late wife, Coretta Scott King, does that tarnish his image in any way in the eyes of a woman? You know what I mean? Like, you could speak from the woman's point of view.
Well, in the eyes of me, it puts a little stain on the greatness of who he, you know, of his greatness and his legacy. We know what he did to the world, for Black people. It's amazing. He's a legend. So, but we feel for Coretta, us as women, we understand her pain. Women who have gotten cheated on, and if it's true.
This is facts.
Okay.
He's a serial cheater.
Okay.
We're gonna get into that in a minute.
I heard he was cheating with white women. Is that correct?
I mean, we're gonna talk about all that.
Well,
we're gonna talk about all that.
Betrayal is betrayal, and women, we understand that. So, you know, men, they're valuable to the world, and we're valuable to men. So, I understand.
I can dig it. You know, I definitely expect the women to side with Coretta Scott King on this particular issue. You know what I mean? Especially women that have been in bad relationships or whatever the case. You know, nobody. Let me start out by saying this. It doesn't feel good for anybody, man, woman, or young person, to be cheated on. Like, that's one of the most hurtful feelings that anybody can have. But let's stick to the topic. Now, Dr. Martin Luther King, this is not speculation, this is not rumor. Dr. Martin Luther King was a serial cheater on his wife, Coretta. It wasn't like a one-time thing. It was every time he left the house, you know, to go to these rallies, to go to these marches, to give his speeches, he had women lined up, him and his guys, you know, all the reverends, Jesse, Abernathy, all these guys. Actually, it was so bad that Dr. King brought home STDs to his wife. So, you know, it's levels. Let me give you my perspective. Dr. Martin Luther King, you know, his legacy is always going to be his legacy. You know what I mean? He's going down in the history books for what he stood for. But what B. Simone was saying was F all that. You know what I'm saying? Forget all that. How could you call yourself a good man when you're constantly cheating on your wife and you bringing pain and agony to her? Now, what I'm going to say is this. Like I always say, like they say in the streets, it's levels. Now, Coretta Scott King knew that Dr. King was cheating because the FBI, they sent tapes because they had his phones tapped. Right. They actually sent tapes to his house. Coretta Scott King knew, but she never publicly, you know, put smut on Dr. King's name. You know what I mean? And that's good. She protected him because she was thinking big picture.
Right. They said that she sealed the files for 50 years so to protect his legacy.
I mean, the files was out there. It's nothing to seal. It's out there. Even the books that was written about, you know, Dr. King after he passed, that was authorized by his family. It spoke on his cheating. Like, they didn't hide nothing in the books. But the thing about it, the reason why I said that is levels to Dr. King cheated, it's like, look, man, when a woman marries a powerful man, now keep in mind, when they got married, he wasn't powerful.
Right.
He was just Dr. King. You know what I mean? He
right.
was just, you know what I mean? He was the son of Martin Luther King Sr. You know what I mean? I
heard it was her connections.
Well, let's not get into all of that because we don't even know, and I seriously doubt that. But what I'm gonna say is, you know what I mean? He come from a powerful family. But what I'm saying is, when she married Dr. King, obviously she didn't know he was going to be, you know, going down in infamy. You know what I mean? She knew he was a good man. He was a great man, but she didn't know this. So, but my take on it is, when a woman signs up to marry a powerful man, let's say he's already powerful. You know, he's already walking into his purpose. He already getting his bag. Any woman with 2 eyes and 2 ears and half a brain will understand certain things come with this package. You know what I mean? Let's not fool ourselves. If a woman get married to an NBA player, NFL player, a high-ranking politician, you should know what that comes with. Now, if you don't know what that comes with, then, you know, you might want to do your homework. So it's one of those things like, I think B. Simone, she didn't tell a lie. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the way she said it was a little distasteful. But, you know, we know how it is when you're trying to get social media clicks. You got to go to the extreme. But if B. Simone would have just said, you know, I don't think Dr. King was a good man in my eyes because he could not stop cheating on his wife, I think most people would be like, you know, you might have a point there. But for me, it's levels. Like, look, bro, you can't be bringing STDs home to your wife. Right. I mean, this is the mother of your kids. Your children has to come out this womb. And to me, that lets me know Dr. King had a serious problem. You know what I mean? I can't even sit up here and really cape for him on that level, because it's like, look, regardless of all the good things you're doing in the world, you know what I mean, regardless of that, dog, you can't be bringing home sexually transmitted diseases home to the beloved. You know what I mean? That's a lot. You dig? That's a lot for me. So my thing is like, it doesn't make him less of a good man in terms of what he stood for to the world. But like many powerful men, their closets are filthy. Just 100. Right. You know what I mean? When it comes to cheating, I mean, like, we hear stories about I was about to say Jeff Bezos, not Jeff Bezos. What's the guy that made the iPhone? You know, his name always slips my mind. The guy that made the iPhones. Somebody help me out in the chat. Like, what's the guy that made the iPhone? Steve Jobs.
Yes.
Steve Jobs was a horrible father to his daughter. I don't know if you read about it or seen the documentary or seen a movie. He's a horrible father to his daughter. I mean, we talking about horrible. But boy, I love my iPhone. I won't get nothing else. Android, I throw it out the window. Don't bring me no BlackBerry, no nothing else. Steve Jobs was a horrible dad. And this guy had all the money in the world, all the resources. He had every reason to be a good father, but he decided, you know what? I just rather make iPhones. You see what I'm saying? So Steve Jobs will always have an impact on the world for what he did as far as technology goes,
right,
and things of that nature, and pushing technology forward.
Right.
But under his roof was malarkey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And plus, I heard he really wasn't that good to people in general. But I'm just giving you an example about powerful men. Powerful men, a lot of these guys, their closets are filthy. But they typically marry women that understand what their role in the operation is. Like, look, you're going to go down in history for standing beside me. And it's going to be some things that you may not like at times. But if you can withstand the storm, you know what I'm saying? Your name will be etched in stone next to mine. You know what I mean? I'm going to be honest. But Dr. King, in my eyes, I got to be honest, he took it a little too far. Like, look, if you Dr. King, you powerful. You're the number one black man in the country at the time. You know what I'm saying? At least one of them. You making moves. You on the line with the president. You know what I'm saying? You got a little clout. You gonna get a little, you know what I'm saying? You gonna get a little sex on the road. You out there with your boys, the wife at home with the kids. But it is levels to that shit, bro. That's all I gotta say. Like, once you start bringing home, and this is pre-AIDS. So you're having unprotected sex.
Was this pre-condoms?
No.
Oh, there were condoms back then?
1960, it was condoms. They had some kind of contraceptives.
Sure?
But
he gets a pass if it wasn't invented.
You get a pass.
You get a pass if it wasn't invented.
But this was pre-AIDS, so people really wasn't into the condoms like that. You know what I mean? It was pre-AIDS. It was it wasn't this big herpes outbreak going on in society. So people had sex, but there still was STDs out there, and you having so much sex back in the 60s that you would bring your wife home back STDs. Now that right there is where I gotta draw the line. Like, bruh. You putting smut on your own name, because now you know what she has to do? She has to go see a damn doctor. Mm-hmm. And Coretta Scott King going to see a doctor. What does that say? Mm-hmm. Somebody's cheating, you cheating, or he's cheating.
Right.
So, Dr. King kind of brought some of this stuff on himself. You know what I mean? And all of this is in the history books. This is no secret of his cheating. You know what I mean? But it's a lot of black people, and not an insignificant amount. It is a lot of black people that don't care for Dr. King too. I mean, his overall legacy, not just his cheating, what he stood for. A lot of black people went the Malcolm X route. They didn't go to turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. They didn't really care for Dr. King like that. I'm just gonna be honest. So
it was like Magneto all the way.
You know what I mean? It just is what it is, man.
Yeah, I agree, because if I had to choose, it would be Malcolm X. You fight back. But I guess we needed them both. You know what I
mean? Dr. King was a wild boy, man. Like, he was a wild boy. Like, him and his guys, man. You know what I mean? It's all kind of folklores and stories out there of him, Jesse. Like, all of these guys, when they would hit the road, they would have women lined up at hotels and things of that nature. So, it wasn't like he tripped and fell into some sex. Nah, this was pre-planned. You dig? But, so what I got to say to it that, is levels. Look, is he a hypocrite? You damn right he's a hypocrite. There's no way I can't say he's not a hypocrite, because he's not just Dr. King. He's Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King, meaning his whole stance was biblical based. You know what I mean? He actually preached from the pulpit. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like, he preached from the pulpit. So at the end of the day, like many pastors out here, you know, and not just the black church. We know what goes on in the Catholic Church and other places. A lot of these guys, they get busy. Matter of fact, I actually got a story on that too. But I have another perspective on this Coretta Scott King thing and this Dr. King and this cheating thing that I'm gonna go to in a minute. But what I'm saying is, it's just levels to it, man. You know what I mean? You can't be out here embarrassing your family. Meaning, the reason that I said Dr. King embarrassed his family, because it's forever on record. FBI wiretaps on his phones of him cheating. They was wiring the hotel rooms. Like, Dr. King is on tape having sex with other women. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So his children, his grandkids can always pull those tapes up and see what was going on. And obviously the FBI sent those tapes, you know, J. Edgar Hoover sent those tapes to his wife. Because he was telling Dr. King, hey, step down as the leader of this movement, this civil rights movement. And he threatened him. Dr. King wasn't going for it, so they sent the tapes to his wife, and his wife heard him with other women.
He tried to whitemail him.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, you know, this stuff is real shit. Like, this ain't no little boy stuff. So you can't be embarrassing your family if you're gonna be out here trying to get a little pussy. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do it the right way. I think it's, you know, noble cheating. Personally, I think it's noble cheating. You're kind of quiet.
You saying what he did was noble cheating?
I said, I'm not talking about Dr. King.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying in some situations, I think there's noble cheating.
Oh, yeah, there's levels of loyalty. Yes, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's noble cheating.
There's respectful.
I mean, cheating is cheating. Like, look, we can never take the onus off of cheating, right? We can never take the cheat out of cheating. Right. But at the end of the day,
adultery.
We try to
soften it. With
adultery.
Cheating.
You know what I mean? You went against your vows. I get it, but there is levels to how you carry yourself. And who's to say him and Coretta didn't have these conversations? We don't know. I'm sure that went to the grave with her. You know what I mean?
Right.
Who's to say that, because I've had girlfriends in my past tell me, like, look, you know, I know you're going overseas, just use a condom. Like, they didn't live in a fairy tale world. Like, look, just use a condom. Like, you know what I mean? Just, you know, be honest.
They prepared for the worst.
I mean, they was just real about reality. Like, look, you a young man, you out here moving and grooving, just use a condom. And then I had girlfriends that was like, if I catch you cheating, I'm going to shoot up your house. So, you know what I mean? It just all depends on what woman you talk to. Some women are deeply entrenched in reality. They're like, look, there's no way that I'm going to have a powerful man and him not have his eyes on other women. You know what I mean? I don't think it takes away from Dr. King's overall legacy.
The betrayal hits deeper when you grow with the man and you watched him evolve into the powerful man that he is 10 years later versus a woman meeting an NBA player. He's already an NBA player and she already knows what she's signing up for. But they both, you know, built together and she helped him. So there's a different, it cuts differently. It hurts. So I don't like when guys say, oh, you know what this comes with. I'm a powerful man. Ha ha ha. I don't like that.
Fair enough. And you gotta understand too. Let me drive it this way. When Dr. Martin Luther King went to Boston University for school, right? Like, he left Atlanta and went up there to Boston. He initially came home with a white woman. And obviously, this was the 60s or 50s or whatever. His dad was like, look, we ain't having none of that.
Right.
And it was his family that got him hooked up with Coretta. So maybe he really ain't really like Coretta like that. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know.
She was light-skinned.
Coretta was a beautiful woman. She was brown-skinned, actually. Oh, but at the end of the day, maybe he really wasn't. Maybe she wasn't his first pick. Maybe she was a beard. We don't even know the ins and outs of their relationship. What I'm saying is putting the facts that I know on the table. maybe it was one of them things like, look, you know, Coretta Scott King, she's educated, she's beautiful, well-spoken, she's feminine. I'm going to carry her out the house. But really behind closed doors, I really want me a hoe. And you know, like Dr. King did have an affinity for light-skinned women too. That was.
I thought Coretta was mixed. Is she?
No, she's not. She's black.
Oh.
What are you?
Okay, I thought she was like a light-skinned mixed girl, but
No.
But I don't know. I know that women feel for women who's been cheated on. So we have that sense of I guess camaraderie. We don't want. We know
you
how.
gotta speak up.
Oh yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you gotta speak up.
Okay, but yeah, no, I understand where B. Simone was coming from.
You know, you kind of drifting off into a different place. You know, like a lot of women like to empathize with other women. I get it. You know what I mean? Look, man, I respected Barack Obama a lot, and I'm gonna tell you why. Politics aside, I ain't talking about politically. Barack Obama was the president for 8 years and stayed out of fuckery.
He was clean.
You know, as far as we know. And we know they was watching Barack Obama, waiting for him to slip.
Waiting for his downfall.
Waiting. They wanted Barack Obama. So that's a disciplined man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I understand that we live in I know that we live in a different era, you know what I mean? Like, we live in a social media era and all that. But at the end of the day, you know, Dr. King was a wild boy. And Barack Obama really kept his nose clean, man. And that was a really good look because for a lot of black men, you know, if you look at guys like Kwame Kirkpatrick, ex-mayor of Detroit, if you look at guys like Marion Barry, yo, man, a lot of downfalls for a lot of black men has been cocaine and pussy. I'm just gonna put it out there, man.
You're right.
I mean, this has been our downfall for many, many years. Cocaine, pussy, and gators. You know what I mean? It just go together. You know what I mean? You get the cocaine, you get the woman, but you got the woman with the gators on. And for real, man. And a lot of people, when we get in these powerful positions, they truly expect our downfall to be because of pussy, you know what I mean, or cocaine, or gators, or all three. You know what I'm saying? And if you are a powerful black man, or you trying to rise to power, you got to keep your nose clean. That's just numero uno, especially in these times. This ain't the 1960s,
right,
where you can kind of get away with stuff. No. In these times, you really got to keep your nose clean. So, you know, a lot of powerful black men have been taken down because of pussy. And black men play the game different than white men. See, white men, for one, they got enough power to sweep their shit under the rug because they can rewrite the narrative and they can pay to have things or people erased.
Right.
Black men, we always want to finesse something, right? We want to slick talk our way out of shit. And a lot of black men don't understand. You got to pay to play. You know, black men, we got this anti-tricking thing. We don't want to pay to get a lot of dudes don't even want to pay their lawyers when they get into deep trouble. It's all type of stuff. A lot of black men haven't learned to play the game like white men. White men pay to get out of trouble. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
So what I'm saying is, that's another reason why a lot of powerful black men go down, because they don't understand how this game truly works. White men are the most savage dudes on earth, but at the end of the day, they understand, I got to make this go away. Why do you think Fox News pays out hundreds of millions of dollars a year based on sexual assault, lawsuits, and all type of crap? They go in and pay the money. You got to pay to play, bruh. You got to pay to play, bruh. And a lot of black men have not figured this out yet. You get yourself caught in a whammy jammy. You have to pay to play that game.
That's true.
The Catholic Church have paid out billions. Why do you think a lot of the Catholic pastors, why do you think that a lot of the cardinals that work at, you know what I mean, preach or whatever they call it, at the Catholic Church, why do you think these guys constantly get away with this stuff, no jail time, because they pay out billions. This stuff goes all the way up to the Vatican. They understand, look, Y'all gonna mess with these little boys. Y'all gonna mess with these little kids. Y'all gonna have to pay to play.
Cough up some money.
You got to pay to play.
Yeah.
You have to.
A lot of people don't respect their opponents. They think that a person won't take them down. They don't believe in that. And that's a flaw, a big flaw. So
we haven't learned. I'm talking about black men as a group. Black men, we so anti-system that we don't even want to play the game that's been laid out in front of us to keep us out of certain things. Like, look, you get yourself caught up in a little eye jammy here and there. You know what I mean? Dog, it's gonna cost to get up out this situation. Now, there is a cost to cheating. There's penalties for cheating. Period. You know what I mean? If a man get caught cheating on his wife, he ain't got no prenup in place. Even in some states, they don't give a damn about the prenup. They can find ways around the prenup. You get penalized for cheating on your wife. She want to divorce you, you got to pay. That was some expensive pussy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Vice versa. If a woman cheat on her husband, he can divorce her, kick her back out on the streets. You know what I'm saying? It's penalties to cheating. You know, my motto is do what you can handle, dog. You know what I mean? If you can handle it, do it. If you can't handle the consequences and the cost of it, then just don't do it. Well, that's just simple with me. I mean, shit. You know, it's not rocket science, man.
Well, he married an honorable woman. For her to keep her family in order, protect his legacy, protect him, even though she knew he was a compromised man. She did a great job. Oh, he's very compromised. Yeah. And, very compromised. You know, they say the line of good and evil fall through. Everyone is going to have to make that decision on what they want to choose to do. So I think we just need to take the good and leave the rest. So.
Well, it's like this, right? We all put on masks when we leave out the house. You know, everybody. From the lowest on the totem pole to the highest. Once we walk out our house, we put on masks. We don't know who people truly are behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. So when B. Simone made the statement that Dr. King wasn't a good man because he cheated on his wife, now, I think it's even levels to that statement because it's like this, yo. If, let's say he wasn't the best husband in the world, regardless of the cheating. Let's say he was very dismissive of his wife. Let's say he treated his wife certain type of. I mean, obviously that was a lack of respect. You bringing home STDs to your wife and things of that nature. So at the end of the day, you know, I do think stripes get taken off your jacket on that good man label. I'm sorry, it's you just can't do certain things. I mean, what are you doing? Like, okay, let me flip it. What if Coretta brought Dr. King a STD? These dudes would be like, stone her, off with her head. You know what I'm saying? We talking about big, and this was pre-AIDS, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. You know, so you got to understand, man, you know, as men, you definitely got to control yourself. There's a pastor named Jamal Bryant. You know, he's the pastor of the biggest church in Atlanta right now, New Birth. Mm-hmm. But he started out in Baltimore City. This guy was the worst. I mean, because I knew people in his inner circle. People want to talk about Pookie and Ray Ray. That dog. Y'all don't even know the half of Jamal Bryant. Why you think he went from Baltimore to Atlanta? It wasn't just an upgrade in church. He had to distance himself from a lot of the carnage he did with a lot of these women. I mean, this guy was literally, you know, getting women pregnant. You know, that's Giselle's Bryant.
You're right.
Ex-husband. He was getting women in the congregation pregnant. I mean, this guy was a piece of work. And for real, this guy is literally a piece of work. So, you know, it's not a new fad. You know what I mean? This has been going back for a very long time of pastors and reverends and bishops cheating on their wives and doing all kind of debauchery. I actually got a story about that too, because there's a flip side that I'm gonna talk about. But like, because my uncle owned a lot of properties around the city back home. Mm-hmm. And he said he was renting out this property to a local pastor, like one of his houses. So he said he just did a wellness check up in that joint one day. No cap. He said he went up in there. Him and his little choir boy was up in there. It was 40-ounce bottles and condoms everywhere. He said he had to kick him out the house. It's true story.
What?
True story.
Damn.
A lot of these guys get busy, man. But there's a flip side, because I want to take this somewhere else. See, now we live in 2022. This ain't the 1960s with the sweet, lovely, beloved Coretta Scott King that was going to be meek.
I know.
I remember, man.
Okay.
This is true story.
Okay, Boogie.
I remember this was many years ago and shit. Many moons ago. And it was this woman that lived where I lived or whatever. And she was really cool. She used to always she was into like fresh fruit all the time or whatever. So anytime she seen me, she'd be like, "Hey, come get some fruit." She was just a cool older woman or whatever.
What type of fruit was she talking?
I mean, kind of little watermelon, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Grapes, like whatever fresh fruit. It wasn't what you talking about. So anyway, I remember one day she told me to come up and come see her or whatever, because I hadn't seen her in a while. She was like, "Come get some watermelon. I already got it for you." And she was having like a little get together. And there was a bunch of women from the church over there, the pastor's wife, deacon's wife, and all that. So I get up there, the number of women up in there too. And I don't know. I was about to go out that night. I had on one of the tightest t-shirts I had one of the tightest t-shirts I could find at the time, for real. So I had the guns out.
Oh my goodness.
I had the guns out or whatever. So I'm just doing my thing. No cap, dog. You would have thought I was a male exotic dancer. These women was all over me. I put this. No, this is Scout's honor. Like, this is a true story.
That's hilarious.
This is a true story. I went up there for some watermelon. I got a lot more than what and they was all over me, rubbing on my arms, rubbing on my chest. And some of them was getting a lot more freaky. And the pastor's wife was the illest.
No.
And I didn't know she was the pastor's wife until somebody said it. And then I started laughing. I said, "Your husband a pastor?" She said, "Yeah." And I was like, you know what? There's a flip side to it, because now a lot of these pastors' wives, they not sitting around being cheated on at home with the kids no more. They out here in the streets finding them a young C Boogie. And, I got a couple other little bit stories that is too wild for YouTube. But at the end of the day, my thing is, a lot of these women ain't playing like Coretta either. They not rolling over like Coretta. A lot of these pastors' wives or whatever, they out here getting it. Trust me, man. This is facts, man. At least it's my life or whatever. So I'm like, damn, I guess they got the attitude like, okay, if he gonna be out on the road, him and his deacons cheating, I'ma be at home and I'ma get my long stuff in too.
Retaliation.
An eye for an eye.
They say one of the most reasons why people don't cheat is fear of retaliation, because they know Judgment Day is coming.
Yo, shout out that LAR movement in the building, man. This is a true story, man. And I was a little younger at the time, so I'm still trying to roll with some decorum and respect. Like, look, you know what I mean? Like, this is the pastor's wife. Like, I didn't go to their church or nothing like that. They didn't catch me up in there. But when I found out that this was the clergy's wife and other guys of the clergy's wife up in the spot, I'm like, oh, snap. I came up here to get some fruit from, you know what I mean, from my lovely, lovely neighbor. And so I stayed for about 20 minutes. They made me a plate. No. Like the older women, they gonna feed you. Yo, man, older women, man. Like, older women got the game to a science. Right, this is a true story. Older women got the game to a science. Because I went up there just to get the fruit. And they were like, sit down, like, let's talk, let's catch up or whatever. Next thing you know, I'm getting mad plates thrown in front of me, yo.
Lay your chest on, lay your head on my chest.
I'm just mad plates of food, soul food, all kind of cuisines. Taste this. Hey, I made the mac and cheese. I don't eat any mac and cheese. She's like, hey, taste the mac and cheese. Hey, I made some collard greens. Everybody wanted me to taste. And then they came out with the pies.
Oh.
Whites only pies. They came out with the pies. Yo, man, I'm like, I got to go. I was looking for help. because I was the only dude in there.
Oh, God.
No cap. I start looking for help because I'm like, yo.
If the wrong person walk in.
Well, not even that. It was just like, yo, nobody's going to believe this. Yeah. And it's about to get too ill.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had my clothes on. I was about to go out that night. And so I stayed. I tasted a little bit of food or whatever. And, man, I got my fruit and I got up out of there, dog, because I kind of knew how that could end it. So as I'm leaving, no lie, every single woman, there was about 7 of them up in the spot, up in the house. Every single woman asked me for a hug when I left. And, you know,
wow.
At the time, like I say, I had the guns out. You know what I mean? I was in my workout bag. They was touching the guns and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, this is the pastor's wife. You know what I mean? So shout out to the pastors' wives that's out here.
All the first ladies.
You know what I mean? They out here wilding. You dig? and that kind of takes me to another point. It's like, honestly, man, I think a lot of people live in a fairy tale world to think that you're going to be married for X amount of years and nobody's going to cheat on anybody. I think that's a little fairy tale-esque. I'm not condoning cheating. I would never condone that, because I know what that come with. But what I'm saying is, I think a lot of people live in a fairy tale world, man. Like, let's say somebody been married 30 years, 40 years. I mean, come on, somebody cheated on somebody. But, you know, for whatever reason, they stayed together and worked it out. Or they just don't know about it or whatever. It just is what it is, man. So the year of the Coretta Scott King woman is done. Like, they phased out with women with a more modern mindset of like, look, it's an eye for an eye.
Toot for a toot. All
that type of stuff, man. So Coretta Scott King might have been the last of the Mohicans that would even let a man come home with an STD. You dig? I think that's, you know, a thing of the past for the most part, man. I think a lot of women got the attitude like, look, bruh, I know about your philandering. I know about your malarkey. I know about it, and I gotta go to this church every Sunday and sit with a smile on my face and listen to you read out the Bible, knowing you a hypocrite. The preacher's wife is like the hardest job in the world.
Yeah.
Like, this is why, like, I don't even know why these pastors get married, for real, because they putting themselves in a trick bag. I'm dead serious. Yeah. They really, truly putting themselves in a trick bag. You got to read out the Bible every Sunday about all the virtuous things, all the beautiful things and love. You got to sit up there in front of your freaking congregation and tell them everything that's going to bring them condemnation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you go home, you hold your wife's hand, you walk out to church, and you calling your side piece. I'm like, this is malarkey. And then the woman got to sit there with a straight face. Like, just imagine, because this is my little Bible for the night. So just imagine, like, the preacher's wife sitting there, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, she reading from the book of Matthew. You know what I mean? And real talk. And listening to her husband sit up there and tell all of these people in the congregation to do the right thing, and she just cut her eye at this nigga. Like, boy, you know, I just went through your phone last night, Negro. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, real talk, man. So I could imagine, it's no way that there's no way that I could be in a position like that. Just understanding that this nigga's a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Like, being a hypocrite comes with the job. Like, man. Ooh, boy. That's rough.
But we all are.
That's rough. Yeah, but there's levels.
I knew he was going to say that.
I mean, it's levels. Like, everybody's a hypocrite to a certain degree. You know what I mean? We all change our mind. We all pick up different philosophies. We all.
Yeah.
But to sit in front of a congregation of, let's say, 500,000 people, you know what I'm saying? You telling all these people how to run their life, and
That's
you
true.
going home, dropping off your wife to go see your side piece.
It's a difficult thing to be squeaky clean. It's a difficult, tall task. I think we need to work on mastering our impulses when we know we're doing something wrong and we do it anyway because we want to, because that little personality in our head tells us, do it. You know,
Well, the devil was a lie.
It's hard. It is
The
hard.
devil is a lie.
Look.
I rebuke you, Satan.
And this is why.
I rebuke you. Damneth mine eyes. But I ain't gonna lie. Like if I was a pastor, which I got aspirations, but if I was a pastor, right? I got some spiritual aspirations.
Pastor Boogie.
I got some aspirations. Real talk. If I was a pastor and you got a church of 80%, 75, 80% women, single, and you know how these women be stepping to the church. Bam! Titties, ass, head dead, all that.
And they hitting on you.
And they coming up to the pastor like lay hands on me. I mean, dog, you got to be a very disciplined soldier.
They drop it to their knees praying. Pray for me.
Dog, it'll be days I got to baptize myself. Like, God, just go ahead and just splash some water on my face, because this is going to be tough. I rebuke you, Satan. I rebuke you, Satan.
Oh, God.
Damneth mine eyes. For real, I'll be in a goddamn pulpit like Stevie Wonder. Oh
my
my
God.
chamois. I don't even want to look at the women and shit. As lovely as a summer day. I don't even want to look at the goddamn women, because I'm like, yo, look at all of these women sitting up in the front row. I turn around and look at the woman in the choir. All of them single.
How
all
about
of them
you
hot.
look at your wife? How about
All
you
of
look
them
at
horny.
that?
I'm looking at her too. But goddamn, so I can understand the temptation. Gotta fight the temptation, man.
Fight the power.
I rebuke you, Satan.
Oh, my God.
Real talk, man.
Oh, my God.
Real, man. Matter of fact, let's get this bad energy out the room. I call on the spirit of the
Yo,
Jaguar.
Light that up.
Real talk, man. Chase out bad energy right now.
Oh, God.
Because I'm telling you, man, when that devil get up in you, man, and you can't control yourself, man, and you know, sex, man, is one of the most powerful drugs in the world, man.
Potent.
It's very potent, man. Sex make men do very ignorant, crazy shit. Women too, but especially men. Sex will, from the right woman, a dude will sign over the deed to his house.
It's the greatest leverage. Just playing.
I rebuke you, Satan.
Just playing.
I rebuke you, Satan. I rebuke you tonight. Yo, somebody in the chat room said my content was better 3 years ago. I was gonna say something funny.
Say it.
I was kind of gonna say something because it kind of crossed my mind, and I was like, when people do stuff like that, like they really want your attention, and it's just like, you know, I don't give a fuck. Like, if you want my content 3 years ago, get on my Patreon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
like,
scroll back 3 years ago.
And scroll back 3 years ago. It's just like Jay-Z said. If you want the old Jay-Z, go buy my old albums.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For real, for real.
This is an involved, powerful man.
But they don't really know the moves I'm making. See, if a lot of these guys understood, I'm not just a YouTuber at this point in my life. If a lot of these guys understand the community aspirations and the legitimized businesses and LLCs and certain things I'm into, I think they would keep their mouth shut. But
you run in circles behind, around 3 years ago, Boogie.
I'm running circles around 6 months ago, Boogie. But anyway, because I peeped it, and like usually I would give somebody some attention, because a lot of times this be a cry for attention.
Right.
A dude could keep that to yourself. Like, why you even watch me? But it's like, dog, I got so many great things going on in life. I just want to pray for guys like that. Matter of fact, like, let's get a moment of silence for the haters.
Going by our heads.
Dear Heavenly Father, please change what's in this guy's heart. You know what I mean? Obviously, he got some things he need to work on. Allow him to go back to my Patreon 3 years ago and really get a breakthrough in his life. Whatever that he's looking for. You know what I mean? He's trying to find whatever he needs through C Boogie when he really need to look inside. This is why I wrote that book, Mirror Talk, Heavenly Father. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Yeah, man. I just really had to address this because it's like, dog, I wrote the book Mirror Talk for you to look within, not to look through me to get whatever you need. I can give you some tips and advice, but when I really truly need advice, I tend to stand in front of that mirror and get my think on. But this is how we treating the haters today, man. We gonna pray for the haters, man. We gonna pray for every man and woman with deceit and malarkey in their heart. But let's go back to the topic. Let's go. Yo, somebody in the chat said amen. I mean, you gotta say an amen to it, because at the end of the day, it's like, dog, I know you want my attention. I know I got a beautiful co-host.
How many women can tell you that you're the greatest man they ever known? How many women can tell you that?
Me?
He got look back at your life and tell me how many women said that to you, and I guarantee you it was none.
Me? I'm saying it's just like a personal question.
No, I'm talking about the man that said that.
Oh no, I mean it's cool. Like a lot of dudes don't like the direction I'm going, but just like I told these guys, I don't want to be a part of your clique no more. You know what I'm saying? Right now, man, I'm just doing what I want when I want. But here's the how I want.
You having your way?
Having my way. God be the glory. Let's. I rebuke you, Satan. I rebuke you, Satan. Because the devil been on my shoulder, man. I've been trying to fight these flea bags, and I can't. But no, let me get back to the topic, man. Dr. King and B. Simone. B. Simone wasn't totally wrong. I think the way she said it was in a way to get people attention. But at the end of the day, I got to be 100. If your family, right, like let's say, hypothetically speaking, the rest of the world say you're a good man, but inside your household, they can't echo the same sentiment and say, what if they say, you know what, he was a very flawed individual? Because you know a lot of times they say that at people's funerals. When they ain't got nothing good to say, they be like, he's a very flawed man. that truly means you're a piece of shit. Yeah. Like if they can't find nothing, everybody got something good on their tombstone, if you notice. Everybody got something good on their tombstone. I'm like, all of y'all wasn't good.
Right.
All the fucked up people I know, how do all of y'all got something good on your tombstone?
That's true.
But here's the point. At the end of the day, though, if I go out into the world, right, and everybody says who they perceive me to be based on my image that I've created, but if my family can't show up for me, and I'm not saying it's about Dr. King, I'm just giving you a hypothetical, and my family and my children and grandkids can't say, you know, Pop and Dad was a good man, if my wife can't look me in my face and say, you know what, my biggest regret was not marrying you earlier. If I can't get that from my family, it means nothing. You see what I'm saying? Like, to me, everything starts in the home. So it doesn't matter. Charity starts in the home. Like, I know you heard that before. It doesn't matter what you do in the world if your home life is in messed disarray, up, in disarray. If you're destroying the hearts and minds of the people in your house, I have an issue with that too. It's kind of like it's kind of like my boy J Dub. You know, he told me what his son wrote him on his birthday, and his son wrote him a good little passage just saying how good of a father he is. And I told him, I said, dog, that's all you need right there. Like, that's black male empowerment. When you raising young black men to be great men, you know, under your tutelage, that's it. You don't need no outside validation. You know what I'm saying? You don't need nothing else, because the proof's in the pudding. Right. You see what I'm saying? So for me, charity does start in the house, man.
Yeah, it starts with you, then your other half, your partner, then your kids, then your extended family, and then your communities. So your friends and everyone else. So you're right. You're definitely right about that.
That's how I feel about that type of shit. So, you know, Dr. King legacy.
But
oh God.
if we had a Dr. King, if we had someone that was faithful but didn't do what Dr. King did in order for us to live the way we're living now, I mean, it's almost like
Like what?
We should compartmentalize on the greatness that people have to offer too.
I feel the same way. Like it doesn't
If
tarnish.
I had to choose a man that was faithful, that didn't do what Dr. King did, and then Dr. King, what he did for,
like, minus the STD.
Yeah.
Minus the STD.
And then a person that did the things that Dr. King did, but then cheated on his wife. I mean, I would pick the second one.
I think it just depends on the woman. I can't speak for a woman. Like, some women can just handle that role. I mean, honestly, some women know what time it is, and then other women, they just can't handle it. They can't handle the constant embarrassment, the heartache, the pounding. They can't. Some women, their outer shell and their inner environment is so sensitive, and I understand. You know what I mean? Because they put their all. Like, look what happened to Derek Jackson and his wife. Derek Jackson's wife was a square. She wasn't built for that lifestyle. When Derek Jackson's wife met him, he was kind of like an overweight football dude. You know what I mean? He wasn't well groomed. He worked his way into that role. But she was with him back then when, you know, his fingers was looking like Vienna sausages. For real. And Derek Jackson obviously stepped his game up, worked out, got his stuff together, hit the road, and he was doing the most. But his wife, her existence was being a good wife and mother. Like, I've met women like that. They squares. Like, their happiness is tied to her family well-being. It's not about her. It's about, is my husband good? Is my kids good? Da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? And she wasn't built for that. And I think that if Derek Jackson wanted to move how he wanted to move, he was going to have to marry a woman a lot more hip to the game. That girl is a square. So some women like that, they never going to be the same. Hold on.
She didn't grow. Did she grow with him?
Hold on.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, girls, women that squares like that, and they 1 billion% believe in family and the family values, and that's pretty much their identity. Once they lose that, and the trust is broken, and they lost faith in her man, those women are the ones that are forever broken, because she gave everything to that man. And you know, that's unfortunate, because these are the kind of women a lot of these guys claim they want. I'm just gonna be 100. These are the kind of women a lot of these guys sit online and they talk about for hours, that, oh, I want a good woman, I want this kind of woman, a righteous woman, a woman that's obedient. And when we hear a lot of these stories, you know, a lot of these women been through a lot of crap.
They're doomed. Those women are doomed.
I mean, like, look at Bill Cosby's wife. Yeah. I mean, look at all the stuff she had to hold in and keep to herself over the years. And at the end of the day, you know, she's still keeping Bill Cosby secrets. Like, that kind of woman is over. You know what I mean? Like, women today, they not even putting up with that for real. I'm talking about on a mass level. They like, fuck that. We ain't going for it, because they seen the pain that their mothers went through. They seen the pain that their aunts went through. They seen these women go through straight depressions because they just wanted to be good women. So there is a flip side to that story, that I'm like, look, man, if you a dude and you messing with a real square woman that you know, not just break her heart, but you gonna break her. Dog, I would say leave that kind of girl alone, man. Like, honestly, man, because it's just not good, man. Like, you need to get you a woman that's hip to the game, that understand the game. Like, look, you know what I mean? I know who I'm with. I know who I'm marrying. You know what I mean? Just don't embarrass me. Because it's a lot of women that talk like that, too. Like, look, whatever you do, keep it outside the house. Don't get that bitch no money. And don't embarrass our family. It's a lot of women with that mentality. You know what I'm saying? Keep it cool.
That's true.
And make sure you bring some condoms with you. Don't have no outside kids. It's a lot of women that set up protocol and parameters around the cheating. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've literally heard this from women. And it's some women that you just know, man, if I do her wrong or if I cheat on her, I'm going to destroy this girl. And I've been in situations like that in my life where I had to leave certain women alone because they was really square. And I was like, if I'm not going to do right by the girl, I should just leave her alone because I know I'm not going to break her heart. I'm going to break her because she's tied up in me. She's tied up in wanting something more pure. You know what I mean? And I wasn't ready for that. And you know what they say, man? You know, once a good girl gone bad, she gone forever.
Yeah.
She gone forever.
I guess that's why it's very important for a man to choose a woman that he sees himself in, regardless of if he's a good man or not.
I mean, good man, I mean, that's relative.
Because they don't look like they match. He grew into what he is.
Derek
and she
Jackson
didn't
had
grow
a
with
glow
him.
up.
She should have had a grow up too.
I said a glow up.
Glow up.
Okay.
Glow up too. She should have. She should have.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but I'm not even going to get into that.
Yeah.
A lot of that is his failure. I'm talking about Derek Jackson.
I understand.
He had a glow up, but he was so self-centered that he didn't bring his wife up with him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You know, so a lot of that was his fault. But at the end of the day, man, that girl's a square, man. That girl, she wasn't built for that type of embarrassment. You see her, she was on TV with the bonnet on, and she just was not prepared for that. That's not her life. Her life is taking care of the kids. I want my husband to be good. If my husband's successful, I'm successful. And, you know what I mean, Derek Jackson screwed that up. He embarrassed the hell out of his family. He had the girl in army fatigues with shit on her eye, praising God. I mean, I like this girl that ain't lost her mind. I seen the pictures online. She was, you know what I mean, fighting the army of the devil. That's for real. I ain't lying. You gotta look it up. The girl had on army fatigues. You saw this shit? I was like, oh my God. The girl had on army fatigues with goddamn camo paint and a fucking beret on. Talking about I'm fighting the army of God. I'm like, man, Derek Jackson done destroyed this goddamn girl.
Yeah, and that's why people need to wake up too. I think women need to understand, be more of a realist, understand what's out there, understand how ruthless somebody could be.
Well, she didn't meet him as Derek Jackson. She met him as the overweight football player.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? Kind of chubby.
I get it.
Not well groomed. She met him.
Well, we need to open our eyes to see what's going on and how he's evolving, see the change, and look in the mirror and see what we got to do to you know, I guess keep up. Just pay attention. I don't think we paying attention enough.
I mean, look, man. I don't know why some men even get married. It's almost baffling to me. Maybe because they just want kids. Like, for real. Like I say, it is levels to cheating. You know? But when you get to you got 2 and 3 women on the side and still trying to have a wife, it's just too much. You're still trying to maintain your family and all of that. And it all comes crashing down at the end. I don't know why some dudes even get married. Just be a bachelor, dog. Just be single. Why choose that lane when you know in your heart of hearts you cannot drive in that lane because you don't want to be with one woman? Hey, that's your prerogative as an individual. I would tell the same thing to a woman. If you don't want to get married, if you don't want to be submissive to your husband, if you don't want to be faithful, don't get married. Like, this stuff is not rocket science, people.
Right.
Like, I honestly believe some people get married just to drag somebody. You know what I'm saying? Just to say, you know what, I'm going to see how much I can put this person through. Because it make no sense to me. Why would you get married if all you going to do is cheat? Now, I got to be real. Over the span, let's say a person was married for 20, 25 years. And, you know, it was a little cheating here and a little cheating. All right, I get that's a very long time. But if you are a serial cheater, like, you cannot walk out the house without hollering at a woman, getting her number, offering sex, going to massage parlors, going to strip clubs, fucking with prostitutes. Like, if you have a serious sex demon that you cannot control, don't get married, dog. We live in a society where, truth be told, you get all the sex you want if you can get it. You can go overseas, go with these niggas to the Philippines, sex tourism, and it's all kind of options for guys like that. Why do y'all want to get married when y'all know you want to cheat? And I would tell the same thing to a woman. When you know you don't love that man, or you know you can't be submissive, be by yourself. You can travel the world. You can go to Jamaica and fuck a nigga named Dutty, real street nigga too. You know the real street niggas be named Dutty. Right. You know what I'm saying? You could go to Jamaica every 3 months and have a soiree with Dutty. You can do what you can get in all kind of orgies. You can, whatever you want to do as a woman. Don't get married. I'm certainly not going to judge you. I don't give a damn. I probably rant it to you. So at the end of the day, it's just is what it is. But once you decide to take those vows, you know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is no marriage is perfect by a long shot. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of the stuff I heard about my grandparents is the illest. No. Illest.
Yeah.
We talking about the illest. But they
coma.
They found a way to coexist. So what I'm saying is no marriage or any relationship in general is going to be perfect. But I'm big on etiquette, man. You can't embarrass your family. Yeah. See, I have no tolerance for niggas like that. And I ain't here to judge. But a man does not understand once you compromise to your family, you got to earn their trust back. And that could take years. It may never come. Because I tell you this, once a young woman or a young man see their mom suffering and crying, that's going to stick with them forever.
Right.
I'm sorry. Or even vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do all the work to get your family back, dog.
Right. And I think the real problem is our double-mindedness. And I'm saying our because we all suffer from it. We want to do the right thing.
I can't relate, but go ahead.
We want to do the right thing.
I rebuke you, Satan! I rebuke you!
We want to do the right thing, but it keeps pulling us down. I mean, the devil, man.
Nah, look, you can't even blame the devil, man. Because I get tired of black people.
It's who we are.
Look, we all have higher vibrations and lower vibrations. And we do live in a world full of temptation. I get it.
We fight with God in our heads every day.
It's about, it comes down to what you value for one.
Right.
Like truly what you value. Now, if you truly value your family, if you truly value your vows, your community, if you truly value these things, then you're going to do whatever it takes. I'm just being 100.
You're going to make the proper sacrifices.
You're going to do whatever it takes. Not to say it's going to be 100% clean. Mm-hmm. But it's levels. Like, if a man is 95% clean and he got a little 5% smut, I'm okay with that. No, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. If I was married to a woman for 30 years and she 95% clean, I don't expect to be married that long and not go through nothing, whatever it shall be. 95. If I was with a woman and she was 95% clean and she got 5, I'm okay with that because I understand, yo, man, we live in a real world. My mind don't even be on no fantasy world type of shit. I understand what time it is. But my thing is this. It's levels. You see what I'm saying? Some things I can handle, some things I can't handle. Now, it's a lot of dudes, well, men and women that get online, oh, you know, somebody cheated on me, I'll leave them. It's not always that easy. Now, we can say some things until we get in that position. I know women that cheated on their husbands took them back. I know, I know women that cheated on their husbands and then the husbands took them back and vice versa. I know husbands that cheated on wives and the wives took the husbands back with kids in tow. You know how many niggas I know with outside? I mean, this is a fuck a pandemic. It's the epidemic. I grew up in the outside kids era. This is true story.
Bastard kids.
I'm talking about outside kids was a fashion trend when I was coming up. And like you know what I mean? It just was what it was. So at the end of the day,
sweeping the nation.
I know a lot of women that accepted outside kids. I mean, I got them in my family. I can probably name at least 18 off the top of my head, man. Wow. And a lot of women accepted because they valued their family. So what I'm saying is, look, there has to be etiquette around everything. That's all I'm saying. I don't expect nobody to be perfect. Dr. King, you know what I'm saying? Coretta's got King, you know what I mean? Larry King, you dig? Not King Smoothie, whoever. You know what I mean? King Von. I don't expect nobody to be perfect. Like, that's how I look at life. I don't. Yeah. I look at life like I don't expect nobody to be perfect. But you got to have etiquette, my nigga. You gotta have etiquette. You gotta have etiquette in whatever you do. You gotta have certain protocol. Like, look, we're not playing the embarrassing your family thing. Right. Why? Because your kids gotta go to school. You don't need your wife hurting around the around the house in front of your kids. You don't want her family to be all in your business about what this nigga doing and why you gonna take him back. And he done had a baby on you. Like, look,
you don't want her questioning herself and her worth.
Well, yeah,
and
that
her self-esteem. It could really. It's very painful.
There's a lot of depressed women I bumped into throughout my life that needed a refurbishment because they. You know what? This is another thing too,
your
man.
powers do work. You know.
This is another thing too, man.
You are a powerful man.
Well, you know, but at the end of the day, a lot of dudes don't even understand. Like, I'm just gonna be 100. A lot of men don't understand. The moment they mess up, it's a nigga creeping out. Like, you know, hold on. Let me do the slide. Hold on. I'm gonna slide. This is how the nigga slide up in there and shit. As soon as a nigga mess up, the nigga come sliding in like, hey big head, hey big head. This is how a nigga slide up in there and shit.
That's true.
Because at the end of the day, man, a lot of dudes don't understand, man. Women love revenge, man.
That's true.
And boy, I done been in so many situations, man, where I knew a woman was revenge fucking. And it's like, damn, dog, this shit is ill. But a lot of dudes bring it on themselves. Like, at that point, it's fair game. Because I'm like, look, dog, nigga, you open up the door in your household. Hold on. Let me slide up in there again. You open up the door in your house for me to slide up in that motherfucker. So, for me, I'm like, I want you idiots to keep messing up. Keep cheating on your wives. Keep cheating on your girlfriends, all of that, and you don't understand that revenge fucking is real. And I'm gonna be honest, a lot of these women, they wouldn't have did it if that door wasn't cracked, man. Right. So, hey, sometimes we could be the architect of our own failures.
Be careful of being double-minded. And there's a poem I would like to share. It's my favorite poem. Do you mind?
Go ahead.
So it's a poem called Do Not Love Half Lovers by Khalil. Do not love half lovers. Do not entertain half friends. Do not indulge in works of the half talented. Do not live a half of a life, and do not die half a death. If you choose silence, then be silent. When you speak, do so until you are finished. Do not silence yourself to say something, and do not speak to be silent. If you accept it, then express it bluntly. Do not mask it. If you refuse, then be clear about it. For an ambiguous refusal is but a weak acceptance. Do not accept half a solution. Do not believe half truths. Do not dream a half a dream. Do not fantasize about half hopes. Half a drink will not quench your thirst. Half a meal will not satiate your hunger. Half the way will get you nowhere. Half an idea will bear you no results. Your other half is not the one you love. It is you in another time, yet in the same space. It is you when you are not. Half a life is a life you didn't live. A word you have not said, a smile you postpone, a love you have not had, a friendship you did not know, to reach and not arrive, work and not work, attend only to be absent. What makes you a stranger to them closest to you, and they strangers to you? The half is a mere moment of inability, but you are able, for you are not half a being. You are a whole that exists. To live a life not half a life. So I really like that, because you have to make a decision to choose what do you want to be. And when you have double-mindedness, you're playing both sides, and you can't do that. People can't. We don't want that. So,
well,
it makes sense.
And that was a really good poem, because, look, here's my motto in life, right? You know, that I came up with my own little mottos in life. But, you know, I'm not always successful, but I try to, do to people what I want done to me. You see, and pause, you know what I mean? I don't know if that came out good, but seriously, I try not to treat people how I don't want to be treated. You know, I try my best. You know what I mean? I try to do what I can handle. You know what I mean? I like to just keep it simple like that. I like to do what I can handle. If I look at something like, I'm just analyzing the situation, and I realize on a personal level, I can't handle the cost of my decision making, then I don't need to be doing that. Do what you can handle. If you want to cheat on your spouse, whoever you are, if you can handle the consequences of that, I don't give a damn what you do. But for me, don't come to me crying, talking about, hey, he left me, she left me, you know what I mean? This person went upside my head, or whatever the case was. I'm like, you ain't do what you can handle, dog. Because if you can handle that, you would be okay with your decision. You see what I'm saying? So, for me, it's just black. It's just simple. It's no gray area. It's either black or white with me. Do what you can handle, or don't do what you can handle. It's just that simple. But a lot of us, we get caught with our pants down, figuratively speaking, and then it's all this other shit. You know what I mean? The devil made me do it. You know what I mean? They try to blame everybody, but they don't want to look in the mirror and just say, I did it because I wanted to. To me, I just respect stuff like that. If a person just look me in the eyes and say, you know what, I just had an urge to do something, it ain't too much I can say. I don't have a rebuttal for something that hardcore. I might just have to resort to another tactic. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know what can I say? You spoke your truth. Now I'm going to give you my damn truth. And you ain't going to like it. So, look, B. Simone and her statements on Dr. King, they are what they are. I don't think she was flagrantly disrespectful. I think she spoke a truth that a lot of people, in Black America, we don't like truth. Like, you ever noticed that, right? We don't like the full parameters of the truth. And, we like to sweep a lot of shit up under the rug. That's really not under the rug. We think it's under the rug in our mind. Yeah. But it's really not. And I think B. Simone hit a soft spot with a lot of people, but it's not like she's lying. That's my thing. If we're going to be all the way 1,000, if we're going to keep it 1,000,000,000, B. Simone was not lying. You know what I'm saying? Now, her opinion is the only thing that's debatable. Was he a good man, not a good man? Look, man, it depends on the person. It's relative. Some people going to say, how can he be a good man when he brought STDs home to his wife? Some people going to say, F that. Look at all the good things he did in his life. It doesn't matter. It depends. I'm sure if we had a candid, honest conversation with Coretta Scott King, she would probably say, my husband was a good man. Was he perfect? Hell no. Mm-hmm. I think most women would take that sentiment like, look, I chose to stay in this situation. I chose to be in this situation. Was my husband perfect? Hell to the no.
But he better than most.
But you know what? He's better than most. Maybe she would, maybe she won't. But I'm pretty sure that maybe she would take a position like that because she understood what, Dr. King means to people all over the world, not just even black people all over the world. So again, but is the statement true? The statement is true. He's a serial cheater, and at the end of the day, I don't think it's cool. Personally, I don't think it's jiggy to bring home STDs to your family. I don't, man. I think that's too far. I think you pushed the line too far. I don't give a damn who you are.
Yeah.
Outside kids. I think that's too far.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm even condoning cheating, but I'm saying, damn, dog, it is levels. Yeah. I don't think every time you leave out the house you should be getting some pussy. It's just certain etiquette and protocols that I believe in personally. I don't need anybody else to back me up. It's like, dog, your name is all you got.
Right.
You can't have too much smut on your name in the streets because you know what you're doing? You breaking your wife every time y'all leave out the house because everybody laughing at your wife.
Right.
That's just the reality, man.
Right.
You never want to put your family in position to be laughed at, especially if you're on a level of Dr. King.
Or having another woman say, yeah, I could take your man. You haven't letting the other woman have a one-up on your wife. That's sad. And sometimes when we hide things and sweep things under the rug, like the truth, when we sweep the truth under the rug, we spare our growth. We're sparing the necessary change that needs to happen in our lives because we're sweeping it under the rug. We don't want to face it because we don't want to change. And that's sad. We don't want to face the punishment, but that punishment will help you grow. Sometimes you need that.
I think that
So now, Dr. King, he's bearing the consequences of his actions 70 years ago.
Look, I mean,
so
I think it's insignificant compared to his legacy.
That's true.
I think this is just some internet thing that's going viral a little bit, but it ain't really that serious. This stuff is public information. This stuff been out there for years. Everybody know Dr. King was a serial cheater. Like, this stuff is public information. So at the end of the day, he was no Malcolm X. Dr. King was no Malcolm X. I'm talking about morality wise. No. Malcolm X was squeaky. I'm talking about after he changed his life and joined the Nation of Islam. Malcolm X was squeaky clean. He was no Malcolm X, man. And I'm just gonna be 100. The black community is really kind of divided on who they gonna roll with, Malcolm or Martin. You see what I'm saying? A lot of black people got the Malcolm X philosophies.
Right.
A lot of black people got to turn the other cheek, Dr. King philosophies.
Right.
Neither one of them are wrong. It's how you want to live your life. But Martin Luther King was no Malcolm X, and don't ever get that twisted.
Right.
Don't ever get that twisted. You know what I mean? So look, it just is what it is with me, man. You know what I mean? Do what you can handle. You know what I mean? Do what you can handle. I don't condone no cheating like that. I know there's levels to it. I'm not stupid. I know we live in an imperfect world. Nothing is going to be exactly how you plan. But damn, you got to have some kind of etiquette. That's all I wanted to say.
Right.
So I'm not even mad at B. Simone for taking that position because she's speaking from a woman's position. Like, damn, nigga, how much fucking you going to do outside the home? Like, I'm supposed to sit up here and clap every time somebody give you a Nobel Peace Prize, but you bringing all this bad energy into our house? You got the FBI director sending me tapes of you with other women. How can I, in good faith, clap my hands and say, you know what, you just a prestigious man, and I got to go to the doctor because you done fucked around and gave me gonorrhea?
Yeah.
Now, I understand from that aspect, too. Like, damn, what you niggas doing?
Yeah, how can I open my legs for you? Again.
I mean, niggas want to sit around and talk about Pookie and Ray Ray all day. I'm sorry. I never got into that Pookie Ray Ray conversation because I'm like, nigga, please, y'all better stop. You know what I mean? Pookie and Ray Ray ain't the only one fucking up women's lives. We ain't gonna do that. Nigga, Dr. King brought home STDs to Coretta. So you know, ain't no hope for it. You know what I mean? Black man, we got a lot of cleaning up to do, black men. But at the end of the day, yo, it's like, Nah, for real. If Dr. King can't get it right, we are doomed.
Yeah, like it's like all the most reputable women in society, they all got cheated on. So regular women are like, dang, we're doomed.
Oh, y'all fuck. I mean, Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce.
Yeah, so all of these women are like, dang.
I think
that's why, you know what? And that's why women are like, you know what? I might as well be with a rich dude because I know he gonna cheat, but I'm willing to pay that price because I can't. If a poor man cheat on me, like I just kill myself. So that's where,
the game is crazy, man. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody got their own demons, bro. Everybody got their own demons, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not here to judge, but I'm always keep it real the way I see it. Like, damn, nigga, you gotta have some kind of self-control. Just period. Or don't get married. Or get you a woman that understand. That'd be my advice. If you wanna constantly have other women in and out your life, get you a woman that understand that lifestyle. Get you a woman that can handle it, and y'all live happily ever after. But
Right.
we're gonna go ahead and shut down. We've been on for a minute.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a fun little episode, man. This the Nerve of You podcast, man, coming at you on a Tuesday night, man. This was a pretty good podcast, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. If you like the podcast, man, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button, man, so you'll see when we live. And I was looking at something real quick. Follow me on Instagram as well, man. So y'all be cool. Peace.